Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour, where we come together at the appointed time every trading day.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what do we have today? Well, pretty flat market, but that's not unsurprising. Market's holding up, which is generally, if it holds up long enough, eventually it breaks through the top. The downside is there's some very massive upside resistance. Doesn't mean that we couldn't get a headline, pierce all that, wipe everybody out on the short side, and then close back lower, maybe even in the same day. The risk reward actually fairly poor if you're talking about trading over a number of days. If you're talking about maybe catching that 1 or 2 hour run where everybody gets washed out and then the market turns south, or maybe you don't get the spike and the market just turns south. Options are fairly bearish through Friday. And why I would rather be short here than be long. But I've seen no signals yet to pull the trigger. 877-927-6664. Other things going on. Of course, we've got the Davos summit started, and of course we've got our on the spot commentator, Sir Alec Guinness, about the meeting in Davos.
You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Many of the
Be
bond.
cautious.
Oh yeah, be cautious. Many of the attendees have decided in the last few days because, of course, they've espoused, what's to say, bat-crap crazy ideas. And now everybody's kind of circling Davos like the Bilderbergs. Is there something in the water when you become a billionaire that just makes you impervious to reality? I'm unsure. Anyway, they've taken their fleets of thousands of private jets there to tell us why we should walk everywhere, live in a tent, and eat bugs. Why, of course, they dine on caviar and the souls of orphans. But I do digress. But certainly a interesting time when the affluent tell the peons how they should live. And what they should do and how high they should jump. Man, if I had $1 billion, how much time would I spend doing anything other than having a ton of fun? I'd be looking for Titanics. I'd be going to the moon in rockets. Would I really want to just sit around there telling everybody else how to live? I don't think so. So there's got to be something. I just do not know what it is. But beyond me, but I know a lot of people that are more interested, instead of doing anything, are more interested in telling other people how to live. 877-927-6648. As I said, I've looked at a lot of different stuff. I dislike the divergence now starting between the 5 and 10% inputs on the summation indexes. We're kind of at the end of the road for a lot of the TD9s that on this big run. We should have at least some kind of pullback, if not a major one. Volume wasn't enough as we went up into previous highs. Now, that does not mean in the past that in bear markets you don't get extended moves. Most of the people are looking at the opening of China as the reason for that. As one part of the reason for that. The other part, of course, is gridlock in the USA House and Senate, meaning that they can't do horrific things to the budget and the people also. So we've got a market that kind of has, for all the bad things, as at least a few rays of sunshine around the silver lining of the black cloud of the impending doom that is going on. I don't know if we have enough to drive the markets very much lower, but I would say that any pop would probably be limited to 100 points higher. Any move lower would probably be about 100 points lower. I'm just thinking if we break the one on the high side, there is not going to be any volume, and it's going to do exactly what it did last time, which is just give up the ghost fairly quick. First question of the day comes in. Yes, I said the conglomeration of Bond villains. That's what I said. Anyway, take a look at, let's look at the SPY. That's a better one. Does that give us a three, or do we have a three gap play possibly setting up in the S&P? That's from Repeat out in the far, far, far coast, not on God's coast, but on the other coast. He's talking about 2-hour candlestick. Frankly, I've never seen these things work on shorter time frames. Like 2 hours or that kind of stuff. Most of these things are days, and most of the time the days are significantly expanded. I don't look at this as a short-term pattern. That is where I'm saying I could see that we would get the last of a three-gap play higher in the S&P, and that maybe that gets us back up to 4,100. That would be probably the short of all shorts if you had no volume. In fact, we're into the gap down today in the SPYs from the 15th that had 117, almost call it 118 million shares. So far, we got about 34 million shares. So we are coming back into that level with significantly lighter volume. So I am bearish, but know that we are walking through bear traps now, where all they want to do is have a little bit of leg and dine and feast on the souls of those people that are short just a little bit too early. Thou shalt not eat bugs. I wasn't raised a bug eater or to live in tents. And yes, I've gotten plenty. For all the people that continue to send me the memes of the gas cooktop stoves, yes, I've gotten all 100 of them from everybody. You don't need to send any more to me. I've got the memes. My favorite, of course, is the one where they're reading the Miranda rights to all the gas top stoves at Home Depot. But yes, I've gotten those. I think we've significantly made fun of those folks. So we can move on. 877-927-6648. We'll look at some more. We've got a question to look at ARQQ. What's going on there in the church of what's happening now? We'll be back in a minute.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Kakestat's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Kakestat breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and to start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors. Are you looking for a way to consistently add winning trades to your portfolio? Tom O'Brien is here to help. Tom O'Brien has been successfully trading markets for over 30 years. A frequent contributor to TD Ameritrade Network and CNBC, Tom O'Brien founded TFNN over 20 years ago to help educate investors just like you. Tom's daily market newsletter, Market Insights, is published every morning when the markets open to give you the competitive informational edge you need to succeed. These newsletters are packed full of Tom's advanced technical analysis and are geared to deliver comprehensive strategies for a successful portfolio. Get Tom O'Brien's newsletter, Market Insights, today and try all of our products and newsletters 30 days risk-free with our money-back guarantee at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
So we were talking about Jeremiah Johnson, the movie, and I bumped into a bunch of people in Hollywood that were involved in the making of that movie. There was a girl in it, a small girl, that demanded to be in the movie. I think she was, 5 or 8 or something. Haven't seen the movie in a while. All I remember was that they were part of the family and they lived up in those areas where Robert Redford had bought a lot of land. I guess he still has it up there, raising those, what are those, bison burgers? I think I had one at one time. Wasn't bad, but I guess there's a reason why everybody didn't clamor for bison burgers. Anyway, I do digress, and of course, after venting my spleen in the A block, we're going to move on to some other stuff. Let's do a little history, and then we'll move on. I said we were going to move on. How can we move on if this thing does not work? I need my history repeating fix. Can I just sing it? Or should I just reload it and pretend it worked? Yeah. Well, a little bit of my OCD in here means that I actually had to reload it. So let's try it.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day, I guess I need to get that back up now. Come on. In 1950, 11 men steal more than $2 million. That's $29 in today's money. Actually, $29 million, but it still feels like $29. From the Brinks Armored Car Deposit in Boston, Massachusetts. It was a perfect crime almost, as culprits weren't caught until January 1956, just a handful, about 3 days before the statute of limitations for the theft expired itself. Of course, I think there was another movie about that, about how South Boston was the bank robbing capital of the world. Not exactly sure why, but it was for many times. Almost the perfect crime, of course, until they were caught. And how many times did people do this and not get caught? It's always something, always some little thing. Someone talks. They all start killing each other. You would just think if these folks would put their mind to something less illegal, they probably would have done fine. But I do digress. So, I'm going to win it again this year. We didn't really talk about the awards ceremony this year at the Vinoy, but it went all well. Okay, let's see, what do we have? We talked about the 3-gap play. I don't think it is, and I don't look at 2-hour. The smallest ones I look at are the daily charts. Let's see, let's take a look at that. Bookings.com. BKNG is a symbol on that one. You continue to go higher. The volume has not been all that exciting since the last big gap. That was on the 4th of January. So we've had kind of a nice move back up higher. Every day seems to be a little bit lighter on volume as we get back up here. Resistance around that 2400 level. I don't know if it even makes that. We're into some pretty heavy down days. We've gone through some gaps on significantly lighter volume. Probably the significant gap I've been looking at is June 9th with 270,000 shares. You kind of went through that with about half the volume. You had about 300,000 one day, but that was kind of just entering it. The next day, 156,000. Today, 191,000. But really, 2,420, the March 29th low of last year, is probably the big day, and even a larger, more huger 1.5 million share down day on February 24th of last year. That is the Mac Daddy of resistance. Okay. Hopefully everything else is going well. We'll check here. Okay. No messages there. No messages there. Okay. Very beginning, someone asked in the den about ARQQ. This was a company that had a moonshot capability. It's up today. You had a bunch of volume on Friday, but I have a feeling that was a lot of short covering. You got about 1/3 of the volume of Friday today so far. Generally, high volume lows mean that you're going to get retested again, especially on penny stocks. I'd look at that. I like to see these stocks when there's no interest left at all. Can you get a nice bounce out of this? I would rather have it retest the 241 on much lighter volume, like 1 million shares go sideways, bore everybody to death, and then start looking at it. If you're talking about a bounce, well, just about everything goes from 100% and higher if you can get it. If you're unfamiliar with this company, it had an idea that it was going to launch satellites and have quantum cryptography, be able to hand out quantum cryptography keys across a satellite link. They now say they have a better way to do it and a secure way to do it on the internet, so they don't need a satellite. Most people kind of like the idea of the satellite, since it would make it much harder for many people to spoof the keys. You'd probably have to have something that was up there or gain direct access to the upload site to the satellite. So they're thinking it's not as good an idea as it began with. A lot of people can understand that, if you didn't have to operate a satellite, it could be significantly cheaper. But at the cost, I think that the big idea was that it would be very hard to hack a satellite and the upload thing. You would have to be fairly committed, maybe as a state actor, to hack the thing. to get it to do that. And that meant that at least if you're like me, people wouldn't come after your local bank account, which I think was much more interesting. 877-927-6648. Anyway, I would love for this thing to go sideways for a few weeks. Don't think I'm going to get that opportunity. Okay, what else do we have for an email? Dave, can you go through the usual suspects? We'll go through the usual suspects. We're getting ready to go for a break. AMD, a little bit higher today, very light volume. All these, both AMD and NVIDIA have their own particular production problems at the moment. We'll talk about this and more on the other side.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
As we were speaking, before we were so rudely interrupted by our ads, the pop here today and 30 million shares gets back into the 618 retracement. That's 71.80. You got to 72.66 today. We're at 71.96. So you're right at that 618 retracement of the move down from 79.32 on December 1st down to January 6th of this year. $60.05. So you got a nice $20 move. So what is that? $20 on $60. So that is pretty good. A third. So anyway, you've had a nice pop here in AMD. The downside is the volume. About 30 million shares so far today into the almost reversal candle of the 13th of December of last year. So interesting again, NVIDIA. It seems like both NVIDIA and AMD have some really hot guns. They're pulling them out and discharging them in their crotch. So I don't understand why these guys are doing it, but certainly there's kind of a little bit of reality distortion on the prices of some of their new products and other things going on around it. Maybe they're just trying to ride it for all it's worth. I think they could have done a very good thing and sold more at a little lower margin and made out and had customers for years. But both of them are kind of equally doing dumb things. One has a power connector that continues to melt. The other one has a vapor deposition channel that seems to fail. And these are fairly high levels of failures for products in the $1,000 to $2,000 range. Anyway, NVIDIA is a little bit better. When we look at it filling a gap today with 38.5 million shares compared to the 47, we'll call it 48 million shares today. Of course, things a little bit better. The energy on the way up is okay. You may, in this one, be able to get a retest of the December 13th high, 187.90. So that would be fairly exciting. Got a question across the bow on Ethereum here. Any chance a mega player like Microsoft scoops it up? I don't think so. I think you've gotten to the point where so many people have lost their keys that there's a pool of people that can't sell. So I'm thinking that this thing is going to actually have a fairly decent worth and be untradeable eventually. That is that, you've seen all these people, drug dealers, human traffickers, all the other folks that love to use this to actually transact business, have blown up, died, gone to prison, don't have access to the keys anymore, and there's billions and billions sitting there that can't trade because it's basically locked up with no key to unlock it. So I'm wondering, I always thought this would be an interesting proposition, and that is you have something that says it trades at $17,000 or $20,000, but literally you can't get anybody to trade it. But because no one else will sell it, it's still, when it does trade at $20,000. That would be one of the more bizarre remnants of cryptocurrencies fall from grace. Anyway, so there's that. Let's take a look at the rest of the usual suspects, then we'll get into earnings for the rest of the day. Apple is continuing its move. Again, not a lot of volume. 144.90 to 144.52, or 145.52 is very good confluence, just above the gap down to the 15th. Ideally, if you got to there and the volume remains rather light, that may be an opportunity to short. I'm wondering if we ever get there. But again, I continue to wait for some kind of sign, and there is no burning bush whatsoever to be seen. Okay, MSFT. Okay. 2 days of volume, lackluster volume, filling this gap down that had 51 million shares. Friday had 15 million shares. Today you got about 17 million shares. So you're coming up, but there isn't a lot of juice. And this time of year, you should be getting some juice. This isn't the midsummer, the doldrums of August. This is kind of a time when you should be having some fairly decent volume if you're going higher. Instead, you're just a bounce in a downtrend. But again, markets can be more irrational and longer stay irrational longer than you can remain solvent. So the key is not to predict so much as to react. I am waiting to react to something that actually confirms my suspicions. Okay, what else do we have out here? NFLX. Well, you got it. Netflix testing, or has tested, a 11 million share high on December 13th with 7 million shares. You've got about that. About 3 or 4 more. What is it? About 3 or 4 more things have hit in this area. Isn't it Velma? See if I can find it here. I thought this was interesting because I saw several of them. Yeah, this is it. I don't understand just how bad Hollywood has gotten, but I did think this was kind of interesting, and that is the average audience for Velma is 6% at Rotten Tomatoes. Even the people that live out in California that review these only could give it 55%. But I think there were 4 or 5 of these things. I've been talking at least a little bit about just how bad this stuff is coming out of Hollywood these days. This is a big budget production by HBO, which really hasn't fallen the way that many of the others like Disney and those have been. But there's a lot of stinkers out there. And I think there are 3 or 4 more I saw over the long weekend. I didn't watch them, but I saw just how horrible the reviews were coming in on some of these. Anyway, we'll be back in a minute.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Some of the other stocks, since I was talking about Netflix, if you are feeling froggy, Walt Disney is testing the previous November 21st high of $100.89 with 70 million shares. Today with less than 20 so far. You've got a dime above it. You're going to close below it. I would have liked to see a little less energy on the downside. But you've got two things lining up together. I don't see a signal to say pull the trigger quite yet because I'd like the market to be headed lower at the same time. You do have a very high low volume test of the previous low, which was bullish, but you never got the energy on the way back up. So this could be a fairly wide-ranging trading range. But you are at a confluence that should be fairly strong, and you wouldn't have to have much in the way of a stop higher. This thing is either going to fail here or continue higher. So you could probably put a stop like 1% above today's high and be in it. I think there's better shorts out there just because this thing's come way off. There are a lot of true believers in Disney, but the CEO has not decided to break the shackles of what brought him here, and that was very poor content on the production side, not the problems with the theme parks. Let's see, what else do we have here? Okay. Let me see else. We wanted to talk about earnings. Tonight and tomorrow. Morgan Stanley, it's a tale of two cities. And eventually I'm going to get that wrong. But down on February 17th with 15.6 million shares, you actually have some decent volume into that, although you're not holding that gap lower from back then. Today, you do have 19.2 million shares. So this one, number one with a rocket, so it gets a winner chicken dinner. The downside is that's up 6%. On the flip side is the Goldman Sachs, and of course that pretty darn ugly. So 6 of one, a half a dozen of the other. Which one are you going to believe? But certainly a big candle on the wrong side of the tracks, down on 9.6 million shares already today. The previous low on 1.65. This kind of light volume low out here makes me think that we might see more stocks like this. Maybe Disney, even though it had a nice light volume low, maybe you're going to get a fairly decent retest of that shortly in the future. Question about Tesla. Had some huge numbers on a lower selling price in China. Some people saying that they have doubled sales over last month over there by reducing the cost. Some people that had just bought the cars were complaining, but I think Mr. Musk is good at ignoring those naysayers. But certainly you've got some decent volume and you're out of the sideways action that was 5 days going back to the 9th. And a nice pop to 131.39. I haven't looked at it today, but that's about where resistance should be for this thing in the near time this week anyway. So maybe it consolidates out that sideways move. 877-927-6648. Okay, do I have any more things? Okay, we got that. Oh, I wanted to get into earnings. Lots of earnings. After the bell tonight, we've got UAL. Do I have any? Okay. United Airlines. You're just back up to that resistance level. You know, the problem I see with this, though, is you've got not much to the upside, maybe 53.12. You got a lot of upside resistance. Downside, maybe 48. So probably not enough risk reward on options. I don't think I'd play it anywhere else. Interactive Brokers also tonight, but not going to make the market move. When we get in tomorrow morning, we've got PNC Financial and Charles Schwab. The only one I'm really interested in tomorrow is JB Hunt and transportation. This thing's just been kind of going sideways. You had a lower low on more volume. You did bounce into the trading range, but you did come down on lighter volume. This one's got signals that look like Custer's last stand if you put arrows on every one. So I don't see a great deal in that. Wednesday night, you've got Alcoa. Used to be the Alcoa always let off earnings, but that seems to have slipped over a number of years. Certainly a nice move for Alcoa. You've got Confluence back down around $47, so that's kind of probably where support comes in. You know, it doesn't look all that bad other than the fact that you really never blew through the 18 million share day on December 5th with any kind of follow-through volume. Man, upsides maybe $3, but downsides, what, 8? Probably. So again, risk reward's pretty tough on a lot of these. Also Wednesday night, Discovery Financial. First Horizons, again, not much going on there. Thursday, we start getting into some of the bigger stocks and enough probably to move the market. I think this is where we're going to see the rubber meet the road in the indexes for expiration on Friday. I think maybe by late Wednesday we get the, which is also tomorrow, since it's a shortened week, where we have other things going on. Anyway, I don't see a lot in Procter & Gamble. So what else do we have? KeyCorp, Fastenal. Not much in that. See what we have Thursday night. Thursday night, we do have Netflix. We've already covered that. PPG, Ozarks. Don't see much in that. Let's try out Friday morning and see if there's anything there. Ericsson, SLB. I had people ask me about that for earnings. So Schlumberger has made a new high. You needed about 9 million shares. You got 12, so you did break the previous high with some gusto, but not doing much now. November 14th was 56.04, 9 million shares. You blew through that on Thursday of last week with almost 13. So a nice day, but you may have, the risk reward now gets very tough. Maybe you have a little bit more in it, like a buck or two. Support probably comes back in that $56 level. We'll be back in a minute and wrap the show up.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years, with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we have our last question from Lawrence, who wanted me to take a look at Microsoft. We're back up to resistance here. Yeah, I mean, the whole market kind of looks like this. We're back up. We kind of felt that there wasn't a lot of energy. Today we got about 17 million shares compared to the 50 million down on the 4th of this month. So yeah, you're bouncing on lighter volume back up to this resistance level. The problem is, do you want to take a chance now and flip a quarter that they don't just open, gap this thing, market higher for a day, maybe half a day, maybe an hour, give it all up, and then head back down south? And really, the modus operandi of the markets has been that. That is, we'll try to bust it out, and we'll wash everybody out at the lows and then go long. Then we'll just wash everybody out that's short at the top, and then we'll go short. So I'm kind of leaning to be waiting and reacting instead of anticipating. And this is generally the week I make a lot of money anticipating with white lightning options for Friday. But even then, I think it's kind of tough. We do have enough earnings that conceivably we could see the market weaken before Friday. But maybe we get some kind of sign, maybe we don't. Right now, all the conditions are there for a hurricane. The question is it going to go off to sea, go up the coast a little bit, not hit us, or is it going to smack dab right into us? Option market makers are extremely cautious through the rest of the week, and generally that's what I follow, especially during options expiration week, when they tend to be excellent judges. Not always right, but excellent judges of the future. As always, sell when you can, not when you have to, and we'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time, as always.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible.